Hello, everyone. I'm going to be doing some coding with AI. So first of all, I'm going to show you what um, we're in a terminal and we're using an example called CountWords to do our application development. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use Python to create a virtual environment. Um, and that is with this command. And what Python will do is it'll create an environment that is specific to this application. So I activate it on a Mac with the uh, activate command. And now I am in this environment. I am going to download a text file, which I'll be using in this example. So I have the command right here, which will bring down that text file. So now if I did a listing of the files here, you'll see that it just downloaded this pg26732.txt file. What that is a book called Free Air. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a file called main.py. So now if we look at our listing again, you'll see I have two files. So now let's open that main and you'll see that it's empty. And what I'm going to do now is create the beginning of a piece of Python. What that piece of Python is going to do is just read that text file that I've created. So I can learn something about options from Copilot. One is just a simple example that you see there with open. Another is a little bit more involved and it has exception handling. And then the third option is very similar to the second option. Just a little bit of quotation marks and the like. So I'm going to go ahead and accept that second option. And so it's important to review the content of these files to make sure they're working correctly. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. Next, I'm going to use comment prompts to kind of go through and add some functionality. So what I want to do is create a function to convert the text to lowercase and remove punctuation. Okay, so again, it's going to give me examples of what that might look like. And I could accept those examples. So this one is just going to go ahead and lowercase the text and then remove the punctuation. So I can go ahead and accept that. Now at this point, I'd like to go to the line above return text and not actually have it return text. I wanted to have it do something a little bit differently. What I want it to do instead is tokenize the text into words. And so that is the suggestion. I'm going to accept that. And instead of returning text, I'm going to have it return words instead. And here we can have some obvious changes here. So it's going to be the result is going to be a suggestion here. Let's see, this would be processed words. Okay. So now let's go to this and say, okay, I want to do another function here that is going to count the frequency of each word in the text. So it comes up with a suggestion here, a couple of suggestions actually. One involves this loop to go through and count it. The other doesn't have a body. I'm going to go ahead and accept this. So what it's going to do is it's going to take the words in and it's going to find out the frequency of those words and then return that. The next thing I want to do is create a function to plot out. So create a function to plot the frequency of the words. How about plot out the top and most frequent words? And I want to do it on a graph with this particular matplot library. And then let's see what suggestions we get out of here. So we're going to get a couple of suggestions. We need to import. Yes, that's one thing we definitely need to do. So we're going to accept that. But in order to do the plot words, got a couple of options here. This will go through and generate the plot, and we can go ahead and accept that. And now we want to create a main function to tie everything together. And again, it's going to offer some options here. We want to try and take a look at what those options might be. So this gives us a good skeleton. The last thing it's suggesting here is that what we would do is we'd run a main. And what that's going to allow us to do is, if you're a Python programmer, you're going to run the main function if this script is we can get Copilot to give us some examples on how to fix things. In this case, I don't want that. Just want to close it. What I want to do is look at the arguments and process those. What other options do I have? Okay, I can just do that. Main with a text file. Let's just accept this. And instead of this, I'm going to give it my PG 26732. And let me go ahead and save that. I want to do something more than just plot this. I want to look at whether I'll be able to save it. So that becomes a question is how might I optionally save the plot? So after I do the plot, maybe save plot, and then have a of the word counts. Now I have to create a new safe plot method. So I would have something in here where I would say save plot to a file. And then let's see what it suggests here. And accept that. And I might want to expand that over time, but the file path is going to be the word frequencies PNG file. Okay, let's save that and want to review what's going to happen. It's going to call the main with that file. It's going to read in that file. It's going to process those into words with the process text function. So we'll go take a look at the process text function. What it's going to do is it's going to use the string function, and it's complaining because it doesn't know what that string function is. So we need to add the import for that. So now we've got to go ahead and add the import from that. So it now knows what that's all about. This function here I can look into a little bit if I'm not familiar with it. But I've seen that before. So that's the next thing that it will call in my main. Then it will count the word frequency. So we can go to the definition of that in the file, and we can see that how this will tokenize the words, determine the words. You'll see also this import here. It doesn't like where this is. So again, we want to be cleaning up our file as we go along. Say, okay, that matlib is not there. So what's going on here? We need to understand that this hasn't been imported yet. So we're going to need to import that file. So down on my command line, I will want to install that mat library. And so the steps to install it is with a package installer called pip and mat plot lib is what we want to install. This will install it into our environment. And that should eliminate our warning at the top of our file. Okay, so continue with our code review here. We're back at the main, plot word frequencies. We're going to go to the definition of that. Take a look through, read how this works. Okay. And that will go ahead and build us a graph. That seems fine. And the last is we're going to plot the word count. So let's go to the definition of that. And we'll see it takes in a file name that looks fine. And we'll go ahead and see how that works. Okay, so now to run this, we're going to call it from the command line. And that's done by typing in Python main.py. Now that's going to go ahead and run. And it's going to create a plot.